This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your host, Cheryl.
Bury the forever.
What the heck?
And Jay.
Not your name.
I'm Adam Driver today.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Well, Adam Driver, could you please hit us with the trivia? Because you're
Sure.
on deck this week.
So, if you did not know, this episode we are reviewing Megalopolis. And this movie trivia is kind of related to Megalopolis because this movie is a mess and it's extremely hard to extrapolate trivia from it.
Yes.
So,
More like, this happened when? Okay. I'm
the
ready.
cinematographer of Megalopolis,
Okay.
his name is MicheauxMission Jr., but they are also the cinematographer for a lot of other really good, visually stunning films.
Okay.
One is your favorite that we discussed very recently, actually in the movie theater. What film is that?
Is it actually my favorite?
Yeah, it's a film that you like.
Okay, I thought you were trying to be
It's a film that you enjoy.
That is currently in the theater?
No.
Oh.
Old film.
Oh, old film.
Well, not old, but it's been out, came out in the 2020s.
Okay.
I want to tell you.
Okay.
And has a black director that you like, who might be working on something else pretty soon.
Black Panther?
Pretty film.
Not Black Panther?
It's a black movie. Very black. It was a hit. You really liked it. Black director. And he's going to be working on another black film that's very exciting and coming out.
Can I get a genre?
The film that... Western.
Oh, I know what this is.
Oh.
Harder Day Fall.
Yes.
That it did look good. Harder Day Fall. They got the Western very well.
Yeah. So the cinematographer not only did Megalopolis, which was a
Okay.
very pretty film.
Yeah.
Cinematography for Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit, which was also a really good film.
Okay.
The Hate You Give and Delirium. And they've been a cinematographer since like 2004, but those are their most recent ones that we know about. Yep.
This movie, Megalopolis, did look good.
It looked great.
So we'll get
Like the cinematographer did its job. Yes.
Yes. He gets an A+ cinema score.
Okay, so that is the trivia for this week. Let's get into the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so for this week it's a trailer episode. I'm just gonna say it. It's like 12 trailers that came out.
It's about
this week.
time.
So we're gonna have a lot of trailers, but we do have some more DC news, and y'all gonna be like, we had this topic twice the other two episodes, but more news keep coming out. So we're gonna talk about that, and then we got a little bit of a sad crunch at the end, but we're gonna pay tribute to a acting legend that passed away. So at the top of our list, if you are listening to this episode on September 30th of 2024, when we released it, it is International Podcast Day.
Yay!
So thank you to all of our listeners who continue to listen to our show. If you follow us on social media, you might have already seen, but if you don't, we won a podcast award from the Black Podcast Awards for Best Film and Television. Yay! So, we are officially an award-winning podcast, so we're going to say it every time we get the chance.
We are.
Thank you very much. And if you are not a regular subscriber to podcasts, go ahead, follow us first. And then find another podcast. I'll try to share some in our episode show notes.
Yeah.
That way you can follow and find a new podcast, share it with somebody, and spread the word.
Yeah, we listen to a few. So
we do.
Yeah.
We like podcasts because we are also podcasters. So let's get into our first bit of news. So DC Lanterns, which we talked about the last two episodes. I know. We have more news announcements for casting. So Kyle Chandler will be playing Hal Jordan, which it's funny because he wasn't nowhere on the list that we talked about 2 episodes ago. And if you don't know who Kyle Chandler is, he's been in a bunch of things. He got a filmography. Okay. What?
I love that you put Grey's Anatomy in his filmography because he was in the one episode where he got blown.
That was a good episode.
I mean, it was very memorable, but it's
Listen,
just funny.
And that was back when I was watching Grey's. I was like,
It's all movie credits and then the one episode of Grey's where he got blown up.
So he's in Grey's Anatomy, which is a very good episode.
Yes.
He was also in Friday Night Lights. He was a series regular there. Godzilla, not Godzilla, King of Monsters. He was also in King Kong, but I don't remember.
He was in it for 30 seconds.
Oh, I'm very good at picking his most notable roles.
But he did have like a little cameo in the beginning.
Okay.
And
he was big in King of Monsters, though. He's pretty much a lead, right?
Yeah, he was the male. Him and Vera Farmiga were the leads.
Right.
I will correct myself. He was in 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. He was in an episode where he got blown up, and then he was in an episode when
Flashback?
When Grey drowned herself, and he was the ghost. Yeah.
Listen, I don't know the name of the episode, but I remember it because he was the paramedic, right?
Yes.
See?
No, he was the bomb guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he been in a lot of stuff, but that particular episode was very good. That was back when I was a Grey's watcher. Anywho, he was also in Godzilla X Kong. So he's been in a lot of things. If you don't recognize the name, I'm sure if you Googled him, you will see. Or if you're on our YouTube video, we got a picture behind us of what he looked like, I'm sure.
So one of the most interesting things about this is that his contract is missing something very interesting.
Significant.
So his contract does not include any movie obligations. Now, this is supposed to be an HBO Max show.
Yes.
It's supposed to be rumored to be like in the vein of True Detective.
We keep
but
hearing that.
with like space cops.
Right.
And
superheroes.
We talked last week about how the casting choices, the list of actors that they had to pick from, they were all like much older.
You said it was all too old.
It was all too old to be like a character to start a superhero franchise.
Right, and he's in the same age range, I'm assuming. I didn't look up his age.
Yeah, he's in the same age range as the rest of the other picks. I forgot who was the
Josh Brolin, Ewan McGregor,
Christopher Pine.
Christopher. That's his government name. That's fine. It's somebody else. Everybody. Oh, Timothy Oliphant was on that list too.
So they're all around the same age.
Yeah. They love the same age.
So it was very interesting. Everybody, that was one of the first things people picked up on is the fact that there was no movie in his contract. So then everybody's like, oh, death. So he's going to die in the show.
People think he's going to die.
That doesn't necessarily.
I don't think he's going to die, but I don't think that means I do think that means that he's not quote unquote Green Lantern going forward. Like, well, he's not carrying the mantle into the movies.
I don't think he'll be in a Justice League. So in the comics, the Earth has a couple Green Lanterns that run around simultaneously, but they only like focus on one at the same time. So I don't think he'll be in the Justice League.
Okay.
Because he won't be in the movies.
He can't. Batman's like 23. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Superman's
they're all
like
young.
23.
And Batman will be too.
24, whatever.
Currently, rumor has it that the person that they cast as Jon Stewart, who will also be the second lead character in the show, is going to be the one who's moving on into the films.
That makes sense.
So there are a couple names that have been put in the running.
2, exactly.
There is Aaron Pierre, Stephen James, and I heard Damson Idris was in the running.
So the quote from the Hollywood Reporter article where we got, this is our source for this, said that he was in talks, but he's no longer in consideration.
Okay, so that's no longer a factor.
Yep. So it's just I don't know if it's Stephen James or Stefan James. We're sorry. And what's interesting is that he is the one I've actually seen in other things. I have not seen Aaron Pierre in anything yet. I need to watch Rebel Ridge, I guess.
Seen Rebel Ridge yet? No.
But he is he's Mufasa.
And Malcolm X. So he was Malcolm X too.
He was Malcolm X as well. But he is doing the voice of Mufasa in the upcoming Mufasa movie. And then Stephen James, I know him from If Beale Street Could Talk. And he was good in that. So I'm going to raise my hand. If we voting, we're not voting officially. I'm going to go for Stephen James.
And the piano lesson, he's in the play and the movie coming out?
Don't know if he's in the play, but I do think he's in the movie.
He's in the movie coming out. Okay. I think those are good choices for Jon Stewart.
I'm leaning towards James. I don't know why, though. Maybe because he's the only one I've seen in something. And I did, when I was saying I was preferring James, and that's because I've seen, If Beale Street Could Talk was a good movie. It was depressing as heck, and I walked out of the theater very sad, but he played that role. So I was like, I can see him as a I don't know. I can just see it for some reason.
I know that Aaron Pierre does mixed martial arts outside of acting.
Okay.
And as like a hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's just something he does anyway or if that's part of like training for like upcoming film roles or not. Okay. But I haven't seen him in any films myself. So I'm very interested to see
who wins,
what the plot of this movie, the plot of this series is about.
You mean like who is the person that got murdered or whatever?
Yeah, like what they are investigating and then how it ends. I think I'm more interested in how it ends now, knowing that Kyle Chandler won't move into the film. So will he survive? Will he not survive? Okay. And how will this tie into the universe? Because I think James Gunn said how this movie ends has really big implications for the DC universe going forward. So I don't know if they're trying to do like a villain reveal or tease. Don't
they all?
But yeah.
Well, as we learn more about this, maybe by next episode they'll have picked somebody.
What happened last time?
And this will be once again a bullet point in our list. So moving on to more DC news, we got news about a potential Bane and Deathstroke team up movie in the works. Now, my first thought was, how you got two villains in the same movie teaming up together? But anywho, the script is going to be written by Captain America Brave New World writer Matthew Orton. So that's a positive. Project does not have a director yet. Now, if you are not familiar with the comics, you have probably seen Nolan's Batmans. And the last time we saw Bane live action, I think was The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, Bane live action. Mm-hmm.
And Deathstroke was in Titans, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the last
live action we've seen of Deathstroke. Now, you may know this. Do they team up in the comics?
Villains team up all the time.
Is this just a hodgepodge pairing that they were like, you know what? Let's try it.
I will say this. I have never read a Bane comic.
Okay.
I've never read a Deathstroke comic. I've read comics where they've appeared, but I've never had an interest in reading anything just about them. So I'm not sure if there's something that they're pulling from here.
What is the focus on villains having their own movies? Because Joker has his own movie.
I don't know.
Why would we Bane and Does that mean that they're not going to be Batman villains?
I don't get the obsession with removing superheroes from superhero content.
Yes.
I really don't get it. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
Penguin.
We're gonna watch the Penguin, and I hear it's really good, and I'm sure it's very good. Because the Batman was
Farrell,
great,
right?
And they're building off of that. But I do find it weird with the obsession of trying to remove heroes from hero content. Just like I find it weird removing video game stuff from video game movies.
Yeah, that would be if they did this, it would be the fourth villain that they have removed from.
And who cares?
The superhero.
Who cares about these two people?
I
liked Tom Hardy's Bane.
I did, but he was in the Batman.
Did you ever
movie.
think about Bane before or after that?
No, not unless somebody posted a little clip on Twitter.
And Deathstroke was already supposed to get his own movie.
Was he?
Yeah, that was the whole point of the
Justice League.
He was supposed to be the villain in the Batman, so he was already supposed to get his own movie.
Right.
I think Maggie Yellow was supposed to, the guy who married Sofia Vergara.
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes.
He was supposed to play it, and then that got canceled.
Wasn't Deathstroke at the end of Batman versus Superman? Wasn't that implied?
It was either Batman versus Superman or Justice League, because he got on the boat to talk to Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. Because that's when Lex Luthor told him who Batman's identity was.
Right.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to do Deathstroke for a little minute.
I don't think the interest is there for a live action Deathstroke, and I think Deathstroke is too similar at this point to Deadpool.
I wonder what they would be.
They're parallels between DC and Marvel.
And they're probably, maybe not. I was going to say they're probably going to try to link that to somebody in Thunderbolts, but I guess not. There's not like a Deathstroke.
Suicide Squad.
Okay.
They kind of have, and anybody can be. Suicide Squad roster goes in now.
Right.
I don't think there's an interest for this. I also don't think this is going to get made.
It is early stage.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to get made.
It is early
I was surprised this took off the way it did.
People was chattering. People were already doing fan castings. So I was like, y'all, they don't have no director
I was like, was this like, did somebody like tweet this as an idea and everybody just ran with it?
No, it can't. This is a highly
Yeah, I know. So I find it interesting that they're going to go this route. I wonder if it'll have anything to do with. I mean, this will be
Batman?
this will be their first Gotham. this will be James Gunn's first Gotham thing.
Well,
because Matt Reeves' Gotham thing is technically not his.
I'm assuming Brave and the Bold, the Batman movie, James Gunn Batman movie, will come first, right?
I would hope so, but we haven't
heard
heard anything about that. Like
Diddly
after
squat.
and it's very interesting, which kind of adds credence to that rumor I heard about Andy Muschietti not doing it anymore because they were gung ho about that when the Flash came out, and then
we
Flash
haven't
came out
heard
and no noise.
Diddly squat, and that might be on purpose because we're about to get our second Batman movie next year, so they're like they don't want to talk about two Batman movies at the same time because it's gonna be two Batman movies in the same universe, which is crazy.
And one is clearly doing extremely well, and everybody is talking about. So why would you want to try to do another one?
Small Batman tangent. Yeah. I have heard that some people, because Matt Reeves was like, Batman is going to stay grounded. It's not going to be like mystical and, you know, ghouls and goblins and all that. People were like, well, we got that with Nolan. So we want a Batman that's got like the clay face, like, you know, an actual clay face villain. Mm-hmm. So people were kind of pushing back against Matt Reeves. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, I guess we did get a very realistic Batman with Nolan. And Matt Reeves is doing another very realistic Batman. But it's a valid criticism. So I'm curious of what James Gunn's Batman is like. Is he really about to take it to super, you know, the ghouls, the goblins type of villains?
I would join that.
Mr. Freeze and all that jazz.
I would join that complaint if the Batman wasn't so good.
It was a good Batman.
Like, it was grounded, sure. It wasn't fantastical. It didn't have Mr. Freeze running around and freeze gun. That movie was darn good.
It was better. I literally watched that movie twice and was like, this is good.
That's what works, fine.
Yeah.
I do think it's risky trying to do other Gotham stuff
without Batman.
Without this Batman and planting the seeds of another Batman.
It's gonna be. I feel bad for whoever they do cast as DC Universe Batman because he's gonna get compared to Robert Pattinson.
Also, no, stop doing Batman villain stuff without Batman.
Listen,
that's the best part about
Joker made $1 billion and they're like,
Batman
do it again.
Because what? Who could have made Bane and Deathstroke mad enough to team up together and it's not Batman?
That's very true.
Ra's al Ghul?
No.
Boo.
Yeah.
Why waste Ra's al Ghul?
I was going to say, what are they doing?
Yeah.
They both villains. But anywho, as we learn more about this, or if this movie ever sees the light of day, we're going to let y'all know.
All right. So that is all of the movie news this week. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot.
Okay, first trailer is for Thunderbolts. This comes out on May 2nd, 2025. This is the newest addition to the MCU that is coming out next year. I think this is going to follow Brave New World and Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four comes after. So Brave New World is February.
Gotcha.
This is May. Fantastic Four is July.
Yes. So this is going to be about Florence Pugh being the main character, it seems like. She's going to be the lead, it seems like.
I saw somebody say it was going to be Bucky.
She's positioned in the front
in
all promo, even in front of Bucky. So
Bucky been in the spotlight for a while.
And it starts off with her, kind of.
It does.
So it looks like this is going to pick up with, starting off with Yelena, picking up with her life after deciding not to kill Clint Barton.
Yes. Hawkeye. Spoiler alert.
She's still, it looks like she's still a freelance spy.
Yes.
And she's going to meet up with
Red Guardian,
Ghost from Ant-Man.
Yep.
Taskmaster,
who we don't know what Taskmaster's been up to since Black Widow.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's still going to be.
Black Widow took place in the past, so what has Taskmaster been doing all this time?
Yeah,
what's Ghost been?
Black Widow took place right before Infinity War.
Right, so it's
well, at the end of the Black Widow film, we saw all the Black Widows get on a helicopter and fly off. So maybe they're just like held up somewhere.
Interesting, because literally everybody. The question is, what have y'all been doing? Because the last time we saw John Walker was Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
John Walker,
but he been busy though, because he got a baby in this.
Who in the comics is U.S. agent,
right?
Who is Captain America knockoff. They all apparently are independent mercenaries for hire.
That's what it seems like.
They're all sent on a job together. We're unsure what that job is, but it clearly is a trap. They've all been put into a room together. It looks like to eliminate each other and then to be killed, whoever's remaining. Right. And then there's another person who's also going to be in this film who is Bob, who is Sentry in the MCU. So he's going to be like the crazy Superman.
That's what everybody like. Superman with they say Superman with mental issues.
Yes, he's Superman with mental health issues,
but
and schizophrenia.
I like the fact that they haven't shown that in the trailer.
No,
I like the fact that he comes off like in the post. I love the poster.
Poster's great. Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that Bob's in the corner looking all like scared, like, "Oh, help me! I'm amongst all these superheroes." I'm like, "We know about you, Bob. I've read the wiki."
Mm-hmm. So I think that's his split personality.
Okay.
I think when he turns bad, that might be when he powers up. We do get only 2 shots of Sentry in this trailer.
Yeah.
Was Sentry related. We get a shot of his belt emblem on the table, and we get a shot of his boots walking down the stairs.
Okay, and somebody really zoomed in. I guess his suit's mock-up, like the drawings or whatever, is on somebody's table.
Yeah, so because he's a government-made superhero.
Okay.
And it looks like the scene where we see his boots walking down the stairs is the same scene where the Thunderbolts confront Val in Avengers Tower, because we also get a scene in this trailer of, it looks like Val, who's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's Elaine from Seinfeld.
Who we seen in a couple other projects.
She is the one who told Yelena that Clint was the one who killed Black Widow. So I wonder if they're on good terms now, because she lied to her.
Don't look like it.
So
the trailer don't look like it.
It looks like eventually the Thunderbolts escape whatever death trap that they were put in. They band together and they team up with Bucky, who looks like he was sent after them.
Yes. So Bucky now is a government man. He got on the suit. We got long hair Bucky back. By the way, everybody was excited about Bucky being back. But he does look like he's after them. And then I feel like at some point he's going to be like, let me cut the crap. Let's all work together. Yeah. Like he's supposed to.
But we still don't know who we have. It has not been clearly identified who the overarching villain is. It'll probably be a mix between Val and Sentry. Okay. I'm interested to see how they are going to fight Sentry.
Yeah. Because, and I'm curious if Sentry is going to live beyond this movie. Because, you know,
he doesn't have to
kill off villains.
He's still alive in the comics, but he's not prominent. He dies and comes back to life pretty frequently. Okay. So, yeah.
And I was like, where's he gonna fit in the future?
So who are the Thunderbolts? Thunderbolts in the comics are a team of Avengers-esque level
ragtag team
characters. Some of them are heroes and some of them are villains, but essentially the point of the Thunderbolts team is to give villains a space to work off their crimes by doing covert operations for the government.
Similar to
Suicide Squad. Yeah. They're parallels.
Which is fine. They borrow from each other.
Yeah. So it looks like this is exactly what's going to happen. All of these characters have been villains or anti-heroes in previous iterations in the MCU. They always in the Thunderbolts stick at least one hero as a liaison, and it looks like that'll be Bucky's character in this.
I think so.
I think Bucky will be every issue of the Thunderbolts at least has one Avengers character. Or one good guy on the roster, usually. Not all
Bucky's
the time.
good at this point.
Yes. And he's working for the government now. So I think he's specifically going to be their government liaison for the Thunderbolts.
Now, I wonder if this is tying to Brave New World at all.
I'm not sure.
Any bit.
I have a good theory that it might, because where did U.S. Agent get his new shield?
Right.
Is it vibranium or is it going to be adamantium?
Right, because it can't be 2 shields.
Right.
Huh.
Interesting.
Good theory.
So he's got a new shield. Is it going to be adamantium? We know they're introducing that in Brave New World.
I don't know who he's working for.
It looks like he's working for Val, because she did show up at the end of Captain America: Brave New World to hire him.
They show up and look like they want to fight Val in Avengers Tower.
Yeah, it looks like Val sent them all on a job to eliminate each other.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it seems like.
Fair enough. Yeah. She's shysty. She's been shysty every time she show up.
Yeah. So, interested in to see what that turns into. Yeah. This comes out May 2nd, 2025. Absolutely excited to go see it.
This will be the summer movie kickoff for 2025.
Next stop on the list is for one Cheryl's been anticipating. This is for Cross. This is an Amazon series that is going straight to Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Debuts on November 17th.
Finally.
It stars Aldous Hodge as Alex Cross.
Yep.
Previously played by Morgan Freeman.
And Tyler Perry. I'm giving the people informed information. Okay?
I only remember Cicely Tyson in that movie.
I ain't even actually seen the movie, so
we went to the theater to see it.
I did not see that movie.
Yes, we did, because you made a crude joke about how it would be after his wife got sniped. You made a joke about how it would be crazy if somebody sniped Cicely Tyson on the stage.
I remember that movie now.
So
Dang,
we went to go see that in the
blank that
theaters.
experience from my mind. Sorry.
This
Go
is
ahead.
going to be as the same vein of the Alex Cross films and
Yep.
books. He is going to be hunting a serial killer.
Right.
It kind of feels like Silence of the Lambs. Has Alex
yes.
Cross stuff always felt like that?
No, but this feels more like towards the end or somewhere in the series, like the killer turns, and now he's after Cross.
This series seems like it's a lot more intense than Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider.
It's giving torture.
Yeah, it looks like
Bloody
it's going to be
guts.
some brutal killings. He's
Yeah.
hunting a serial killer. It looks like there'll be
on.
murders during the show.
Skin and mask of some sort.
Yeah, very weird.
look-
It looks like Cross has some type of issues as well. He's going through some type
Yeah.
of grief or something.
He lost his wife before the series starts. It
Gotcha.
seems like, and he has 2 kids,
Yes.
a boy and a girl. And
Does he always lose his wife? Morgan Freeman didn't have a wife either.
I don't think he had.
He lost his partner.
I mean, I'm sure they probably varied up in every
Because
iteration.
Tyler Perry's wife got killed too. So is that like an Alex Ross? Is that like his Batman thing?
Oh, instead of his parents.
His wife always has to die.
We're making that lore at this point. I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like he's going through some things. He hasn't dealt with his trauma from losing his wife. But I will say we already know it's the second season, so
Yes.
he lives.
Yes.
You can't kill Alex Cross though in the series. That just wouldn't be right.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be a Silence of the Lambs-esque series.
It does
It
give
definitely looks like it's going to have some action in it.
Mhm.
Aldous Hodge is a great actor.
Yes.
This has been highly anticipated for a very long time. They've been talking about this for so
ain't
long.
shown
They've been
nothing.
talking about this for years. They
Yes.
renewed it months ago.
Yeah.
And this is the first trailer for season 1.
We knew there was a season 2 before there was a season 1 trailer. So y'all, Amazon clearly has confidence in this, which is good. And I will definitely be watching.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're going to watch episode 1 or however many episodes that premiere, as long as it's at least 2 and not
probably-
the full series. You think the full series is going to drop?
No, they're probably going to do week to week.
So if they do week to week, we can do a first impressions.
Yeah. Is Jack Reacher week to week? Probably.
Yes.
They'll
Jack
probably do
Reacher
week
is a
to
reach week.
They'll
Okay,
probably do
cool.
week to week.
Because was Rings of Power week to week?
Yes, Rings of Power is week
And
to week.
Cape Crusader wasn't. So,
No.
yeah.
But that's animated.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be reviewing it and watching it when it comes out.
Absolutely.
Next stop on the trailer park is for Ballerina. This is the latest installment in what is now the John Wick franchise. It is now a franchise.
Universe. Call it the universe.
Yes, it's now a universe. This is going to be the first spinoff from the universe. It's going
First movie spinoff.
First movie
Because
spinoff.
don't forget, we got the Continental nobody watched.
And the next film spinoff is supposed to be the Donnie Yen spinoff.
Correct.
So this is going to follow Ana de Armas, previously known from Ghosted on Netflix. Knives Out.
Why would you say Ghosted first?
That's her most recent film. Knives Out.
Okay.
And she was in that. Oh, wasn't she?
She was in that Ben Affleck movie when they was dating. Back when they was dating, they did a movie together before he broke up and got back with J-Lo.
Oh, okay. I was
know.
going to say, actually, that was in real life.
I don't know the name of that movie, but she was in that too.
But she also played a junior CIA agent in the last James Bond,
Correct.
which we did enjoy her little 5 minutes in that movie as well.
2.5 minutes, but yes.
She was good in that film.
She was.
So what is Ballerina about? This is going to follow a different assassin. It looks like she's coming from the house of Giordani, who's the same house as John Wick.
Yep.
Instead of avenging the death of her puppy, she is going to be avenging the death of her father and going against other assassins.
How original.
We're unsure if these other assassins have anything to do with the High Table or if this is just a separate section of killers, because you know High Table has so many rules, which makes the John Wick movies interesting.
Agree.
We're going to have a cameo from Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
So this is going to be pre the last John Wick film.
This is set in between the last 2 movies.
Yes.
So this is before 3 and 4. It's between 3 and 4.
So this is before we think he's dead.
He's dead.
I
John
think
Wick
he's
is dead.
I think he's dead.
Leave that man.
I think Keanu Reeves wants John Wick to be dead.
Leave him in peace at this point. It's done. We're finished.
How do we feel about this trailer?
I wasn't impressed.
The thing I noticed first about this trailer is that this trailer doesn't seem any different from any other female-led action film that has come out in the past couple of years that didn't get the support that it needed.
It's not just that. It's the fact that it looks like a copy and paste. You know, when
it does.
Nowadays, because John Wick was so popular, we see action movies and it was like, oh, it's very John Wick-esque.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever. That's fine. But this literally looks like they just cropped out Keanu Reeves, put in Ana de Armas, and did the same fight scenes. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just.
I think John Wick has shown us so much crazy stuff. And we've had 4 full movies of it. This trailer didn't show me anything I haven't seen before or wowed me more than anything I'd seen in any other John Wick films.
Looks okay, I guess, but I wasn't like, ooh, I'm excited.
The most that people talked about this trailer for was the final shot of the trailer where she's having a spray off between the guy with the flamethrower and the water hose.
You know what that reminded me of? Alien. Did that flamethrower not remind you of Alien immediately?
It did.
Okay.
But everybody was like super hyped on that scene. They were like, oh, this is amazing. It's so anime.
It made no sense.
But it wasn't even nearly as good as the top down shotgun flame ball scene in John Wick 4. Like, are you kidding me?
That scene and the scene where he was fighting his way
down
up
the stairs. Like, I'm sorry.
First of all,
Ana de Armas cosplaying as a firefighter did not set off this trailer for me.
And the water hose going together like Voldemort and Harry Potter at the end of this movie. I was like, this don't work for me.
Because fire is not solid matter. So that water hose would have blasted right through. Nope.
I didn't.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm sorry. I know that everybody was very excited about this, but I was just kind of like, okay, fine. I mean.
It reminded me of Black Widow. It reminded me of Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Colombiana. All great films that were good, but didn't blow up the box office. I was just I'm more interested to see this film, but I'm more interested to see the reception and the box office for this film, because there was a lot of it was very interesting that there was a lot of chatter. It seems like everybody wants this film now all of a sudden. But this film is no different than a lot of other films that came before. So I want to know what about it everybody seems to be attracted to the most about.
Because it looks like a John Wick movie, and everybody loves John Wick. Now here's my question. Where's the Halle Berry movie?
Yeah.
We doing all these spin-offs for character. Like, the Donnie Yen one makes sense. Mm-hmm. Cool. But that was literally the 4th movie. We got a whole character in the 3rd movie. They got a whole backstory we learned about, a little bit of it. And we just skip it right by.
Halle Berry's a no-name. She was really good in the John Wick film. She had a character with a backstory. We had exposition about her character. She was the owner. Things. She was the owner of the hotel in that region.
She had a job.
She had dogs. She had attack dogs that had tricks and did stuff on command. She had a daughter that she couldn't see because she had entered the world of being an assassin.
And we've jumped to some character.
The plot is there. It's written.
Has avenging her father. Oh, okay, girl.
But instead, I guess they wanted to do the thing with Donnie Yen going back to his daughter instead of Halle Berry going back to her daughter. So.
I mean, I liked his character, but we have another. I mean, if we're going to do spinoffs, why don't we pick somebody else who's already there? But anywho.
This comes out on June 6th, 2025. 2025 is a little early. We have not planned out our 2025 agenda, but it may make it on there depending on what else comes out that weekend.
Everybody probably gonna move out of the way, so sure.
Next stop on the trailer park is for The Last of Us Season 2. This is going to premiere sometime in 2025. It is going to star Pedro Pascal again as Joel. Yeah. And it's pretty much going to pick up where the second game picks up.
Now, I need to watch the first season because I thought it was going to be too scary, but you said it's not that bad.
No, it's a soap.
Okay. It's a who?
Well, it's like a soap. Like
a soap opera?
Yeah. Oh. It's like a drama.
Well, I thought scary as the creatures was scary, but you said they're not that scary.
Did I?
Oh God, are they scary?
Okay, so
do they look like the things from A Quiet Place? No.
No. Here's the thing, though. The things from A Quiet Place aren't scary because they're monsters, and they're fictional.
Yes.
These are people that are zombie people who have an affliction that causes their face and head to turn into mushroom monsters. And they twitch, and they're called clickers because they click.
Oh, they twitch.
Yeah, they're twitchy, and they're called clickers. Oh. So, no. These are pretty much some of the freakiest looking zombies I've ever seen.
So maybe I gotta watch it in the daytime.
Yes, but it's very good.
The trailer for season 2 looks good, and there's a lot going on, and I ain't seen season 1, so I can't really explain it that well. But I was like, oh, maybe I need to watch the first season.
These zombies in The Last of Us are scarier than the zombies in Maze Runner.
Gosh dang it.
And they're even less human looking.
I spilled my popcorn over them zombies in Maze Runner.
Yeah, so they're so The Last of Us season 2 is gonna pick
have
up.
To tell us how it is.
With the second game. I don't want to spoil it. I feel like everybody knows.
Don't spoil it.
But it is going to feature an older Ellie. It's going to take place several years after the end of the first season, I believe. It's going to introduce some new characters, it looks like.
Okay. Isabella Merced is in this.
Isabella Merced is a main character from the second game. She's she's Ellie's love interest. So she'll be the second lead actress in it.
Very cool.
Jeffrey Wright will also be joining it as well.
He's in the trailer.
We don't have to go down the whole cast list. It's going to have a large ensemble cast of guest cameos and characters depending on the episodes, just like the first season did.
Okay.
I assume it's going to be just as good. I'm interested to see how it deviates from the second
the game. Okay.
It seems like they're going to do as much as they can to keep Joel as prominent in the show.
Well, also showcasing the other characters.
More prominent because the first game was about Joel. You play as Joel.
Right.
The second game, you play as Ellie.
Okay.
So you switch. It's a flip between the characters that you spend the most time with. So season 2, we're going to be spending more time with Ellie, and I'm interested to see how they make Joel more present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What they do to change
So I'm going to try to watch season 1. We'll see. And then hopefully I can get into
It's good. It's devastating. I will say that. It's sad.
Are you trying to convince me to watch it or not?
I'm just trying to prepare you.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, now I don't know.
Last stop on the trailer park is another highly anticipated one. This is for Sinners. This comes out March 7th, 2025. This is a Ryan Coogler production. And wherever Ryan Coogler is, Michael B. Jordan is right behind him.
Not very far.
Not very far.
Not very far.
So this is going to star Ryan Coogler. Nope. Yep. It's going to be directed by Ryan Coogler. He might be in it. He can.
I was like, yep.
Sure. He
can make a cameo just like Quentin Tarantino does in his movies.
Why can't he? Michael B. Jordan is going to be the main actor in this. He's going to be joined by himself because he plays twins.
Right.
Haley Steinfeld, Hawkeye 2.
Yeah.
Wunmi Mosaku from Loki.
Yep.
And Scavenger's Reign. Yes. Love
And the show I didn't watch everybody Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country, yes. Yep. We love Wunmi Mosaku.
Me too.
Jamie Lawson and Delroy Lindo, which is interesting because Delroy Lindo is making a habit of appearing in vampire films.
Well, the other one he's supposed to be in ain't made yet.
Yeah, so,
Blade, cough, cough, cough.
So Delroy Lindo, spoiler, is also going to be playing Blade sidekick in Blade.
If we ever get Blade.
If we ever get that movie.
TBD.
So what is Sinners about? It is basically about two twin brothers return home, the official synopsis. Two twin brothers return home and find that their hometown has been overtaken by some unspoken evil.
Vampire.
The evil is vampires.
I was going to say, any vampire? They didn't say vampires, but I'm pretty sure somebody already leaked it was vampires.
So the first thing I thought of when I read the synopsis is the first thing I thought of when I watched the trailer, which is, this is Salem's Lot.
It is very much Salem's Lot.
It's Salem's Lot. It looks exactly like Salem's Lot, which I'm not... I like.
It's fine.
I think the trailer for Salem's Lot looks good. I am going to watch that.
The Salem's for Salem's Lot. The trailer for Salem's Lot looked scarier, so this trailer doesn't give away too much.
This trailer doesn't show the vampires,
not at all,
which is funny because Salem's Lot has the same exact plot synopsis about a man returning town and having to face an evil. And it's like,
evil is vampires.
Just say vampires. It's vampires.
It is.
Michael B. Jordan and maybe his brother, which I don't think that's the case. One of the Michaels will be banding together with the survivors of their town and doing what's that Quentin Tarantino movie? This also reminded me, Dusk Till Dawn-esque standoff, because it felt very Dusk Till Dawn at the end of the trailer.
It's set in Jim Crow South. So it's got, at least that's what the early leakers was saying, but it's definitely set back in time, like, and they're in the South, because Michael B. Jordan got a attempt at a Southern accent. So it's set in back in the olden days.
Michael B. Jordan.
So it's got that grain, that old school grain on it.
Michael B. Jordan's Southern accent was one of two things that made this movie trend.
Okay.
One was Michael B. Jordan's accent. It wasn't that great. It was a bad Southern accent.
And I didn't like, but it is doable.
But Jonathan Majors is also trending for this movie as well. Do you know why?
Because he also would have did really good.
No, he was trending because of the costuming. Because everything everybody in that movie wears looks like stuff that Jonathan Majors be wearing.
Okay, I was about to say because he would have also been a great lead.
I was wondering why he was trending. I thought he was going to be trending because people were saying that they thought the original idea was going to be that Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan were brothers, and they went with the twin brother angle because Jonathan Majors doesn't get hired for very many things anymore.
I don't think they
But no, he was
that.
trending because Michael B. Jordan was wearing Jim Crow
I was gonna say because it's set
clothing.
It's set in that time in that era, and that's how Jonathan Majors be dressing.
Interested to see this.
I'm very interested. I'm more interested in it because it's a Ryan Coogler movie and the supporting cast. I will admit I'm not a huge Michael B. Jordan fan, but I will not avoid movies that he's in. So
I like action stuff, like vampire stuff.
I do.
I haven't seen that many Michael B. Jordan stuff, other than Black Panther.
Fruitvale Station. I've seen.
You saw his Creed.
I saw the last Creed because somebody else was in it.
No,
that we just talked about seconds ago. Yeah, I only saw Creed 3 because Majors was in it. And then what else have I seen? Black Panther.
He's had the Tom Clancy movie that came out on Amazon. I think that's getting a sequel.
The Wire. Does that count?
I saw Michael B. Jordan in All My Children.
Oh, that was before Reggie. The Wire. Jesus. Okay, if that counts, then The Wire counts.
Yep.
So I am very looking forward to this, despite all this what I just said. I will say I think one of the twins is a vampire. I definitely
think the other brother. He plays twins. We only follow one twin throughout the rest of the trailer. It seems like.
I guess they're twins, so we technically not supposed to be able to tell which one is which. But the posters that they put out, one brother looks like he's good, and the other brother looks like he's evil. So it's like
at the end of the trailer, only one brother is inside the bar, ready to fight the horde of vampires that are on the outside. So
yeah, I think one of the brothers is a vampire.
Do you think
they shouldn't have did the posters like that? But anywho,
do you think the racism will make the vampires stronger?
Or you think the vampires gonna be white?
Jim Crow South,
because they look like
and Haley Steinfeld is playing a vampire. So
wait a minute. You saying that she playing a vampire? That's not official though, right?
In the trailer, yeah, I think it's official. In the trailer, Michael B. Jordan's voiceover is talking about how they're seeing ghosts or people from the past.
And is that the part of the trailer where it flips?
It shows Haley Steinfeld looking evil, dancing in the middle of the bar. Okay, and she's like the only person dressed fancy and she is clothes that are different from everybody else's. I also think
she's the only white person in that bar.
Yeah, so I definitely
everybody else is a person of color.
I definitely think that she's the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think No, I don't think they're gonna take that angle, but I do think we're gonna get our touches of racism for sure. I mean, you can't do a movie based in that era and not just skip by the racism.
I'm interested in this film. I was very interested when they first talked about it and making it a period movie. Period vampire film.
And I was not. I was like, does it have to be period? But you were on board from the jump.
I just wanted to know the significance of that. So interested to see what that's going to be about.
I mean, it's Ryan Coogler. So in Ryan Coogler, we trust.
So that is all for the trailers this week. Let's dive into this bunch crunch.
Okay, so first up, we got just a little bit of bite of news for Freddie Prinze Jr., who was previously in the original of this, but he is officially signed on for the reboots, sequel, remake.
So it's a requel for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm not sure if they're going to do the thing where it's just going to be number 3.
Okay.
Or if they're going to do the Halloween thing where they're only going to reference the first one.
Oh, and not the... But everybody want Brandy to come back, and Brandy was only in the second one.
And that's why I still don't know yet, because if they haven't officially signed her yet, or hasn't been announced. Nope. And if they don't, they technically don't have to acknowledge that second one.
The way she was talking about it, they just started talking to her. And I was like, ain't the script done?
Yeah, right. Y'all
just... So she getting a cameo?
I'm wondering if they're even going to acknowledge the second one at all. So...
Ain't they missing the other girl? Whose escaping my mind?
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Yeah. I haven't heard anything about her.
He signed on before Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she was the final girl. So.
And they have their whole cast of people for this reboot. So,
I think she's already signed, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's already signed. Yeah.
The cast can't be 25 people now.
The only people who survived the last one was Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Brandy.
Well, I'm saying for this requel, they got a whole new young cast.
I don't know.
That's like 6 people deep.
People thought that about Scream, the 2022 reboot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people survived in Screams now.
Oh,
if you think
right.
about it, like Scream, they only kill the people they introduce new nowadays.
Yeah, they just killed the one boy and his mom. And...
Yeah, they only kill the new people now. So I don't know. It depends on how far they plan on taking this. If this is going to be a complete revival of the franchise.
People seem to be lukewarm on this in general.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is good. It's entertaining. It's a campy slasher, but it's never been as popular as Scream. It's always been regarded as it's been treated like the DC of the Marvels. It's been regarded in the film space as like the little sister who came after.
It'll be interesting. It also, unless they move it, it's set to come out between, speaking of, Superman and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, because what people don't know, and I don't know how people don't know this.
What?
I Know What You Did Last Summer is a holiday film.
But between 2 superhero movies, I don't care what holiday.
I Know What You Did Last Summer came before both of those.
Listen,
there's precedent.
Unless Jesus doing the marketing, I don't think this is a good idea.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is a 4th of July film.
Okay,
it specifically takes place on the 4th of July in each film, so they have to keep it. This is a holiday. They've claimed 4th of July.
No, they claiming the weekend after because I think Superman comes out 4th of July weekend.
I know, but they have to
do it
release
in
it
July.
as close as possible. Yeah. So it's a holiday film.
It's still dangerous.
Yeah.
we gonna find out if they stay 10 toes down and coming in between these 2 movies.
I need to see a trailer first. They have potential. What I don't want is them to. I hope it's not going to be an exact copy of Scream. I hope it's not going to be Jennifer Love Hewitt coming to involve herself in a slasher who's coming to kill some siblings.
And her friend.
Like Sydney did. Yeah. So are they going to do the same thing? Are they going to kill Freddie Prinze Jr. just to bring Jennifer Love Hewitt back?
I feel like they can't because the new cast is going to have done something because it's I Know What You Did.
The new cast in Scream kind of, well, I don't know, because what does Jennifer Love Hewitt have to do with if they killed somebody else?
I don't know.
What does Jennifer Love Hewitt have to do with that? And
they're going to shoehorn them in for nostalgia base.
I feel like she clearly killed the killer and his son at the end of the second one. Of course. So I don't know how their bodies would have made it off of the island.
It's new killers. They're going to have new
in the
killers.
Bahamas, but
they're going to shoehorn it in somehow, I'm sure.
I need to see a trailer.
For sure.
Next scoop of crunch is a sad scoop.
Boo. We don't like it.
R.I.P. to a real one. Dame Maggie Smith has died at the age of 89. If you do not know who Dame Maggie Smith is.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Go ahead.
But we have some notes. You want to go over them?
So her career spans over 7 decades, so longer than we've been alive. Yes. But she's been on stage and on screen. She's a double Academy Award winner for Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, which I found out in my Googling is not a very common thing for somebody to win like Best Actor or Actress and Best Supporting. So she was doing a thing. She won 3 Primetime Emmys for Downton Abbey, which I did not watch, but is super popular.
Totally forgot that Dan Stevens came from Downton Abbey.
Did he?
Totally. I watched like the first 3 seasons of Downton Abbey. Totally forgot that he came from that. So a lot of people came from Downton Abbey.
It was freaking popular. I know that much. Her most notable role, people was debating about this on Twitter, but anywho, most notable role was Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter series. People were like, I just want you guys to know that she just didn't play in Harry Potter. And we're like, we know.
That's great.
It ain't our fault that the movies made like a couple gazillion billion dollars.
You're talking about the movie's popularity, and you're acting like the box office doesn't play a factor in that. Like,
people literally grew up on these movies.
Box office means more people saw this movie than more people saw another movie. Doesn't mean the movie was better. It is not a mark against the movie.
She was literally the perfect professor.
Argue with the distributors. Why are you arguing with people on Twitter?
Anywho,
argue with WB.
That was probably her most popular role, but she has also been in a gazillion other things. She is also from the First Wives Club. Have you ever seen that movie?
She was in the First Wives Club? Who? She wasn't one of the wives?
She was,
Barbara Streisand?
I think she was a mom of one of the husbands, maybe. I think. There's a scene where she is with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Not Sarah Michelle Gellar. Sarah Jessica Parker.
I was about to say.
Too many Sarahs. Too many Sarahs. Where she's trying to teach her like some etiquette or something, and she has a scene where she just says fork, and it's like she was very good at being funny with like the most minimal of lines. So she was not just a dramatic actress, but she was also very funny, even though she might not have been known as like a comedic actress.
No, I haven't seen that movie in forever, but classic. I totally didn't know that she was in The First Wives Club.
If you have not seen The First Wives Club,
good movie, funny.
In honor of Dame Maggie Smith, I was about to say Dame Judi Dench, which they are friends, by the way. Sorry.
Dames
v. Damon. Go see First Wives Club. She was also in Sister Act 1 and 2 as Mother Superior.
Yes.
I know. Now, that's the one everybody was like, she just went in Harry Potter. She was in Sister Act. We know, guys. Yeah. We know. She also, another rare feat, has won the Triple Crown of Acting, which they consider an Oscar, Tony, and an Emmy. Yes. Which I just learned that the Triple Crown of Acting was a thing. So.
I thought it was just EGOT.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, she has one.
Right. So she got the Triple Crown, y'all,
both
of acting.
The EGOT and the Triple Crown.
Oh, she doesn't have an EGOT because she doesn't have a Grammy.
Oh, Grammy is the G.
Now you was thinking Golden Globes, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Mm-hmm. EGOT, which is kind of weird. Why would it not be a Grammy versus
the Golden Globes is the same as something else, though, right? Which one has two names?
Emmy. Your Oscar. You're thinking
Academy
Oscar?
Awards and Oscars.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
God! Mm-hmm. Stop doing that.
Yeah, but she's got a Triple Crown.
Yes.
So she didn't get a chance to put a record out. She got no Grammy, but she probably would have won one. So
somebody put her on wax.
Oh, she could get one. She could still get one.
She could get a posthumous Grammy. Beyonce.
So, hello.
What are you doing?
Somebody get her a voiceover or something.
Yeah.
You know, that she might have dug back in the day and dig that back out.
On Renaissance Part 3, the rock album, we need like some Maggie Smith Sister Act 2 interpolation on like a rock song.
There
Absolutely.
It is.
We need to get her a posthumous
We need to get Maggie Smith, Dame Maggie Smith, the EGOT.
Yeah.
If you're listening. Mm-hmm. So, R.I.P. to an acting legend. Which
R.I.P.
sucks because this is not too long after we just lost James Earl Jones.
I know. Everybody's going. Somebody posted a shot of a picture of McGonagall, Snape, Dumbledore, and another actor from Harry Potter. And Hagrid. And they're all gone.
Oh my God!
They're all gone. The whole faculty, the faculty is gone.
The OGs of faculty of Harry Potter movies.
It's very sad.
Oh well, unfortunately, we ended our news on the sad crunch. But this is the perfect time to go watch First Wives Club.
Yes,
and Sister Act 1 and 2.
So. That is the news, trailers, and Buncha crunch for this episode. We're going to take a short break, get a snack in my tummy, and then we are going to come back for our review of Megalopolis.
Yay! This week, we watched Megalopolis, which is the latest from director Francis Ford Coppola. If that name doesn't sound familiar to you, that's kind of strange, but he did direct both Godfather Part 1 and Part 2. And he is also known for Apocalypse Now. He is known for other things, but those are the top. I'm going to say them the top 3. I forget one.
Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman.
And Bram Stoker's Dracula.
And I think, was that Monica Bellucci?
I don't know.
Was she one of the wives?
Maybe.
Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, yes.
Okay.
Winona Ryder.
Excuse me. I forgot one important movie. He is very famous, notable, highly recognized director. Yes. Casting characters of this said movie. It's going to take me 5 minutes, so buckle in. Adam Driver plays Caesar Catalina. I'm going to hopefully not butcher these names also as well.
Preface, all of these names are weird, so if we do murder
I guess they like Roman names.
That is okay. Because, some of them seem based on real names, and some of them kind of seem made up. So don't be too harsh on us if these are butchered.
Thank you. And y'all know I like to butcher his name. I mean, I don't like it, but it's just what happens. Adam Driver, Caesar Catalina. Giancarlo Esposito is Mayor Franklin Cicero. It's spelled a little different. I was like, that was his name? But he goes by Frank in the movie. Yeah. And then Natalie Emanuel. Is it Natalie or Natalie?
I think it's just Natalie.
Okay. Natalie Emanuel plays Julia Cicero, who is Giancarlo Esposito's character's daughter.
And Miss Sunday.
And Miss Sunday from Fast and the Furious franchise.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I call her my Sunday and everything, but you're right.
what's
she is
her name? Oh, she's
I don't remember. I call her my Sunday.
What's her character's name in Fast and the Furious?
She is the second tech person.
Hold on. Now I'm about to look. Because every time you say my Sunday, I'm like, oh, Fast and the Furious.
It's like 3 letters, I think.
Let's see. She is Ramsey.
Ramsey. Okay.
Yes, she is Ramsey. And she was also in The Maze Runner. She was Harriet in The Maze Runner.
In what movie? In the second one?
The Scorch Trials and The Death Cure.
She must have been one of the survivors. Oh my God, with Giancarlo Esposito.
That's funny.
Oh, wow, funny.
That's why the chemistry was so good in this.
6 degrees of
Maze
Runner separation.
We'll get to that. Okay, back to our cast list here. Give me 1 second. Aubrey Plaza plays Wow Platinum. That is literally her character's name. Wow Platinum. Shia LaBeouf plays Claudio Pulcher? I didn't even know he had a last name in this.
Yeah, Pulcher was the name on the posters.
Gotcha. Claudio. We're going to go by Claudio. And then John Voight plays Hamilton Crass III, who is the dad of Shia LaBeouf's character and the uncle of Adam Driver's character.
Yeah, there's some family ties.
Okay, yes. And Lawrence Fishburne plays, didn't even remember what his name was, Fundy Romaine?
Yeah, he's never addressed by name in the film.
Okay,
so.
He is Adam Driver's driver, literally, and assistant.
Yes.
He's also the film's narrator.
Yes.
So he talks a lot during the movie. Catherine Hunter plays Teresa Cicero, who is Giancarlo Esposito's wife and Masunday's mama in this. I'm calling him Masunday now. That's what I'm gonna go with.
The last person I could think of is Dustin Hoffman.
Boom, forgot Dustin Hoffman. He is very last.
He's at the end, which is surprising.
Yeah,
but
Dustin Hoffman plays Nash Berman,
who's prominent,
who is Giancarlo Esposito's character's fixer.
He's his Olivia Pope.
Basically. And then I'm also going to call out Jason Schwartzman, who plays Jason Zanders. Why was both characters named Jason? He is a member of Giancarlo Esposito's character's entourage.
He kind of acted the same as his character in the last Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Because he was the host, the original host.
Even less.
He was less in this movie.
He was in this for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Runtime is 2 hours and 18 minutes, and you're going to feel every minute and second of it, by the way. I wonder how long the credits were. Probably like 10 minutes. Budget of $120 million, which all came from Mr. Coppola's pocket himself. So
he got it.
This is a self-financed movie. So keep that in mind when we're about to get to how much this movie actually made. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess I should also say that he showed this movie at film festivals, and he actually had to pitch to studios to pick it up to market it. So studios only paid for the marketing of this movie and putting it in movie theaters, which was Lionsgate. So Lionsgate is on that tag for another movie that's not doing.
What's going on over there?
Somebody about to get fired.
Everyone.
But the $120 million budget came from Francis Ford Coppola himself.
2 interesting financial tidbits.
Please.
One, he sold his winery to front up some of the cash for the promotion because they weren't going to give him any money for promoting the film.
Yep. 2,
which we talked about earlier, he did something fun. He purchased a Days Inn motel for $4 million to house crew and his family during
they
production.
Renovated it.
It doesn't say they renovated it, but it does say that because he purchased it and used it for the filming, it counted as a production facility, which gave him access to a lot of tax credits, which brought the cost of production down to $107 million. So he spent $4 million to save like $13 million. So
he needed the savings because open box office weekend or open box office day, which would have been yesterday, Friday, because we saw this on Friday, 1.8 million. That's it.
He got it.
Does he now?
I think
Does he have it now that he spent 120?
He owns a winery. I'm gonna assume that's not the only. I'm gonna assume that's probably the cheapest thing he owns, so he could make this movie. Okay, so he got it.
So opening day, only $108 million is projected to do $5 to $6 million for the entire weekend. you ain't got to be no rocket scientist or no mathematician to know that ain't good.
And I mean,
that ain't good.
Francis Ford Coppola is like 85, so he doesn't need to be like a filthy rich forever.
Somebody said that I didn't look this up. Said that he didn't care how much this movie made because this is his passion project. Because this movie's been in development Hades for a very long time.
And he's 85 years old. Is he supposed to wait until he's 100 to make his passion project? Get it in now. You're here.
Fair enough.
So,
and he at this point in his life, he had $120 million to blow.
Who cares if you die broke? I mean, if you're 85.
I mean,
he'll have enough money until the rest of his life. Who? Sophia fine.
She got another movie coming out.
She just had that Elvis Presley movie come out.
She did. I think she got something else coming out.
She good.
Cinema score is a D+. Which is
it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
There ain't nothing else to say to that.
No, this isn't a horror film, so it doesn't get that allowance from having a low cinema score.
No,
this is a drama. The
yes.
Cinema score, they only poll people who had a general interest in seeing the film in the first place.
These
because
are your
if you're
people.
at the theater, you had an interest in at least spending money to see it. So these are people who spent money, went to see it, probably, maybe begrudgingly, and still didn't like it. So.
Yeah. So the critic score from Rotten Tomatoes currently is sitting at time of recording is sitting at a 49%, and the audience score is sitting at a 42%. So not making money back.
You either like it or you don't.
It's not getting critically acclaimed, but we kind of knew some of this was gonna happen. Into this. If you've been following any of your chatter around this movie, it came out of the film festivals very like. What is this, for instance? What is this?
This was a dumpster fire. We knew it going in, and we went in with our firefighters gear.
Since day zero that this movie was coming, it has not been a smooth sailing. But now you can hear our thoughts on what this movie was like, because maybe we agree, maybe we disagree. Jay, hit us with the plot.
Okay, so the plot.
If you can.
I had to write this down.
Okay, I was going to say.
This movie was a lot, so there was no way I was going to be able to pull this together from my mind.
Yeah.
So the plot is Adam Driver is a prolific architect trying to build a better city. Yeah. And this is the boiled down version. I didn't pull this from the wiki. This is from my own understanding. This is literally just
the water and the salt.
So Adam Driver plays Catalina, who's a prolific architect, basically, who has superpowers. He has the ability to stop time. Can't make it go faster, but can stop and start it.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. But he's an architect. Giancarlo Esposito's character plays the mayor who's trying to fix the city. So Adam Driver's trying to build a better city for the future for the people. Giancarlo's character is trying to fix the city that they currently live in.
And build by literally physically building, not just like,
Yeah. Like physically building a new city on top of the city that they're already inside of. And Shia LaBeouf's character just wants to control the city no matter what state is in.
Correct.
So the film basically follows these three characters. I would say they're the three main characters.
Yeah, our side characters play a prominent part in our main characters' stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these three main characters push the plot forward, and we're basically watching a power struggle between the three of them and how it affects the lower class people who live in the city below them.
Right. That's a good synopsis.
That was good.
That was good without spoiling it and having to go down like the rabbit hole of the whole plot.
If that wasn't clear, ask Francis. He can explain it better than I can.
Sure could.
Maybe.
So what are non-spoiler thoughts about this movie? You go first.
Non-spoiler thoughts about this movie. I liked the plot.
Okay.
I liked the plot as I had just explained it.
Sure.
I liked the plot. I got the vision. Okay. I got what he sat down to write. What he wrote, what he got up from the table, I did not understand. I did enjoy the characters, though.
Okay.
And I liked the chemistry. I think this is great casting.
Okay.
And I think it's great cast chemistry. Not sure of all the things that they said to each other, but
dialogue.
But overall, the story was just a mess. And the issues with this movie come from the addition of a lot of extended sequences of nonsense that broke up what was mostly a coherent plot. Mostly the plot was coherent. It was straightforward.
Yeah.
When you boil it down to about
the water and the salt.
45 minutes of a film. If you cut all of the nonsense out.
A short story?
It's a very strong short film.
Okay.
Yes. Hour and 10 minutes, sure. Maybe hour and 10, then 45 minutes.
Okay. I would agree with most of that. I will say that I was worried that going into this, because the cast list that we just went through, all good actors.
Great actors.
We've
seen them in other things, and they've been great.
Right, and they were good in this. So I was worried this movie was going to be so bad that not even the actors were going to be able to just do a good job because it was such a mess. Somehow, the actors in this were able, out of all the mess, the actors were able to still play their characters very well.
It was strange because their characters are ridiculous and outlandish, and that's what my notes is. You have to be good at what you do to pull this off, to read this script, read it to each other, know what the next person's lines are because it's nonsense.
Right.
And it looked like a professional film.
Oh, it looked good. This
film looked great.
Looked good. Whoever was in charge of the costuming and outfits and makeup and hair, ace in my score for you.
This was a very pretty movie.
Every time somebody came on screen, I'm like, ooh, cute
very
shoes.
Pretty movie.
Okay, suits. Okay, shirts.
There was something
pants.
to like in every scene. There was something, set design. Yep. There was something or somebody or a look or something that was to like in every single scene. Even if the scene was a complete and total mess.
Even if the scene didn't make no sense, you could be like, man, she pretty though.
Color grading was great. Nothing looked the same. The city definitely had an identity.
It did.
It looked like something.
It kind of gave me Gotham a little bit because there's a part of the movie where we go to like I guess I'll call it the elitist clean side of the city. And then we go to then we go to the dirty side of the city.
Yeah.
Where it's like Gothamish. And you could tell it looked good. It was a good setup and all that jazz. And the actors did a good job of trying to convey Francis Ford Coppola's vision with the scripts in this movie with their acting capability. So that was good. The chemistry between the characters. So Giancarlo Esposito and Masunde played father and daughter. They played off each other very well.
Great, very believable. Especially, did they speak in French or something?
At one point, it might have been Italian because Giancarlo Esposito's Italian.
Yeah.
So it might have been Italian. That was good. Adam Driver's and Masunde's chemistry was good.
Very good, very believable.
I was just kind of like, you know what? If this script was just real tight. And like I agree with you on the mess. Like he really could have just stripped out all the convoluted what the heck whys of this movie, and it could have just been a good, straightforward, real good acting. Like I could have seen some Oscars coming out of this.
Nobody was in the theater when we went to see this, so we were able to talk each other through the film because there was a lot of points where we were confused and we had to we had to have a caucus to decide what we had just watched.
You were like, I was following it and now I'm lost again.
And that was the thing. Dang. And that goes back to what I said about the mess. Like it sucks because two things. One, these are some of the best performances from some of these actors, and it sucks because no one will ever see them.
Natalie Emmanuel did really good.
This is the best acting I've seen from Natalie Emmanuel.
And I want to watch her movie now, her John Woo movie now.
She was great in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Until she got her head lopped off.
Oh.
And then I enjoy her in Fast and Furious, but they don't really give any of the non-Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez characters anything to do in those films.
So she ain't been able to stretch her acting chops.
This was good. She was really good in this as a lead. Great.
I didn't know that she was going to be a lead going. I didn't know who anybody was going into this.
Adam Driver.
And very quickly you realize that she's a female lead and she carries.
Yeah.
So good for her.
She carries and she's really good in the film. And so it sucks because she's really good. Adam Driver, I think, is good. His character is ridiculous, but he pulls it off really well.
And he got some scenes where I'm like, Adam really in his acting, like the rent is due, but I don't care.
Giancarlo's really good. Aubrey Plaza is really, really good in this. She was one of the funnest parts of the film. John Voight was cool. He was okay. He wasn't in it that much, but he was the main character. I enjoy Lawrence Fishburne's narration. And it sucks because these are all Talia Shire. I don't know what else Talia Shire has been in other than Godfather. Oh, she was in Rocky 2. She was in the Rocky movies as well.
Okay. She's Adam Driver's mama.
Yeah, she's...
I don't know if I said that in the casting list, but she plays Adam Driver's mama in this.
Yeah, so she plays Adam Driver's mom in this. they have good veteran actors in this, and it sucks because everybody gives a good performance and you won't ever see it. And the second thing that sucks is all the mess in the middle of I'm understanding the plot, I'm following what's going on, and then you throw in like an Adam Driver acid trip that completely derails the plot.
He tweaking, and you just like, I don't care.
It sucks because there was something that could have been pulled together here. Yeah.
No, it was already there.
Yeah,
it was just stuffed with other crap.
Yeah, you said nothing went to the cutting room floor.
I don't think they edited anything.
That's how this movie
out of
feels. It feels like all of the things that you would have brought in an editor to cut out because it doesn't make sense for story flow. They didn't have that. So
this is the director's cut, and nothing was cut.
All of the deleted scenes are playing in the middle of the freaking movie, and it's very frustrating.
Exactly. The flow of the movie gets so chopped up in like scenes that don't add anything to the movie. Yeah. So it's just like you got a good plot in the middle of a script that's got too much in it, and you got good actors in the middle of a movie that got too much going on.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay, so let's talk about each character.
All right, and are we done with our non-spoiler thoughts?
I don't have any more non-spoiler.
Let me see.
And I'm gonna say no because it's so confusing. I feel like I might slip up. So let's just go into non-spoiler.
So we are gonna go into our spoiler part of our review in 3, in 2, and 1. So let's hit it with what we think about the characters of the movie.
Okay, so let's just go down the list. So Adam Driver plays Caesar Catalina.
Okay, Caesar.
He's the architect.
Yes.
And we follow him through most of the movie. And basically, he is the chairman of the Design Authority, which I love. I love the name, the Design Authority.
Their jackets was very plain, though. To be designed.
It was very blah. It was very blah. Something that you would wear to Paris Fashion Week that wouldn't stand out very well. Would probably sell for like $1 million.
You're right.
But it was mostly just like black suits. With the black shirts, black on black on black, and a shawl that he wore. But basically, he plays the head of the Design Authority, who I guess aren't necessarily political. But
they're not political. They're not government. They literally seem like their own entity. And you're just like, but how? But go ahead.
So the Design Authority has jurisdiction over the buildings in the city. Tearing down, demolition, and construction of new buildings in the city.
We don't get no backstory on how they got this way.
And Adam Driver's plan is to make a metropolis, a futuristic city that brings the people into the future. And he clashes with the other character, who is Giancarlo Esposito, who is the sitting mayor, who just wants to fix things the way they are.
Right, and they have old beef because Caesar, I'm going to try to call people by the character's name. Caesar was charged with killing his wife.
And
the body went missing.
Cicero was the prosecutor at the time.
Exactly. And Adam Driver got off, so he got proven to be not guilty. But they still got beef because of that. So they are literally fighting the whole movie. The entire time.
So most of the movie with Caesar Catalina's character is just him like giving speeches about the state of current society, the state of the future, and how society ruins civilization, which is something that I didn't understand.
It's a lot of yabba 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 yabba. It don't make no sense. Yeah. So Adam Driver has a scene earlier in the movie where he's giving his speech. I guess there's like a design competition.
The movie starts off with the demolishing of a building. Adam Driver has blown a building down because he plans to build something in its space. And
he stops the demolition with time, and then he unpauses it. We don't get no explanation as to why he pauses the demolition and keeps it going, but that's a reoccurring thing. Things happen in this movie, and there's no explanation.
Yeah. So Adam Driver is pursued by Natalie Emmanuel, who is Giancarlo Esposito's character Cicero's daughter. And she basically plays a socialite. Yeah. And the city isn't New York. It's New Rome. And it feels like...
It's based in New York. It
feels like what Rome would feel like if it was still around in the present day. Yes, where you just have, you know what it looks like? The scenes in the movie look like the paintings from like Roman times of like festivities and parties. Like constant in the daytime and the nighttime, socialites partying, drinking wine,
the
out
people
all night,
just look more modern.
All over each other. Yeah, the clothing is a lot more modern and up to date.
It's more diverse.
But the behavior of society and the way people act is very old Rome-esque.
Yeah, very like lavish and gluttonous and very showy and socialite, essentially.
Right. So Adam Driver's character is pursued by Julia Cicero, the daughter of the mayor, because she wants to be more than a socialite. She wants to do something more important with her life. I like their chemistry.
Yeah, so surprise, surprise, they fall in love.
Yeah. They're the romantic leads of the film. Surprise, surprise, they fall in love. He is difficult to love because his mind is a mess of just ideas that nobody seems to understand but himself.
And he also on drugs.
He also has a crippling drug addiction.
Oh, and an alcoholic.
Yes. A debilitating addiction to substance.
Because, of course, the whole trope of a genius also having a troubling past and addictions.
Yes. Genius and madness are twins or whatever the saying is. So I liked Adam Driver's character.
He was good.
The issues I had with the character were his lines, not his line delivery. Like I said, his performance was really good, but some of the dialogue, he goes into speeches about the state of society. Yeah. It's hard to even explain it in a review format because that will require remembering verbatim the things that he said, and that's impossible.
He ain't saying that.
You have to have the script in front of you to remember some of the lines.
He's trying to be his character's supposed to be like the super profound guy and say very profound things, but as an audience we're just like, what?
Yeah. So Giancarlo Esposito's character is the mayor. I like the dynamic between Adam Driver and Giancarlo Esposito.
I did too.
I because they had opposing views. Giancarlo Esposito's character was a lot older.
Yes.
And he did not come from money. Adam Driver, Shia LaBeouf, and
John Voight.
They're all like a super rich family who have
super duper rich,
who have a lot of power over the city. So there's a lot of it's a little bit, the dynamic is kind of like that dynamic between Jim Gordon and the crime families of Gotham.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Where he's trying to fix the city, but he's constantly having to power struggle with the rich people who don't really have any political power, but they can control everything with money.
Right, and the people of the city also don't like the mayor either. They don't seem to kind of care about
anybody in power.
Adam Driver as much. They do towards the end of the movie. They don't like him towards the end of the movie either, but they hate the mayor.
Yeah,
and the mayor hate Caesar. Yeah, so there's a lot of hate going on here.
What else do we need to mention about Adam Driver's character?
Well, and I guess we should mention the fact that he had a wife. The wife is dead. But he still loves his wife, we are shown. So that plays a little bit into the movie.
He's still guilt-ridden over the death of his wife because she died. We're not sure if it was suicide or not. But she got into some type of...
I think it was.
Yeah, it seemed... The way it was depicted, it seemed like she intentionally drove off the bridge because it didn't seem like there was any traffic on the bridge or anything that she would have had to get out of the way of. So it looks like she just clearly drove off a bridge.
He said that their relationship was broken because he was crazy.
And she unalived herself and the 2 unborn twins that she had in her tummy. So
which we found out later. Mm-hmm.
He was pretty broken up about that, which I guess kind of lends credence to his drug addiction.
Sure.
Substance abuse addiction.
And overall jerkiness.
Let's talk about Julia.
Masunde.
Yes, Masunde.
She does a socialite very well. Mm-hmm. So I'll give her that. And then she hooks up with Adam. When I say hooks up, she doesn't want to hook up with Adam Driver. She kind of goes to him to say, hey, I'm looking to do something more in my life. And initially he blows her off. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like, girl, get out of here. I ain't got time for that. But she does something that impresses him. So you can tell they're going down the path of like, we're going to fall in love or whatever. But she did a very good job of playing that like smart and I don't want to call it devoted, maybe. Yeah, devoted.
Yeah, very loyal,
devoted, because she basically becomes his assistant.
And she's torn
for a minute. Right, because she's torn. Although she takes the job with Caesar pretty quickly.
She does.
She does know that her dad gonna be pissed, and he is. And that dynamic between the three of them pretty much until the last scene of the movie.
Yeah,
where they like Caesar and Cicero don't get along, and Julia is in the middle of that, and she does a very good job acting wise. She does a very good job of she doesn't just kick her dad to the side, which I like, but she also is clearly still in love with Adam Driver through all of this hot messness.
Yeah, so it kind of the love dynamic is kind of like Romeo and Juliet a little bit, where he's the Romeo, she's the Juliet, and they both belong to different families, and they're navigating how to love each other and deal with their families that are warring. That's the closest I can describe the dynamic in this film.
Caesar's internal struggles of like having a wife, trying to build this city, I'm also an alcoholic and a drug addict.
Aubrey Plaza plays Wow Platinum, who is a TV personality. She's kind of like a Wendy Williams.
You know who she is. Don't even skate over it.
But
she is Janet Snakehole.
Aubrey Plaza has dusted off and revived her Janet Snakehole character from Parks and Rec.
Literally her pound for pound.
Yeah, like her. When you said that, it didn't occur to me until you said that. Like I said, we had to talk each other through this film. As soon as you said, I can't get out of my head. My husband keeps me draped in the finest of Bergdorf Goodman.
Listen, because her character
is the same.
Her character in this movie, first of all, and that's not a knock against Aubrey Plaza.
No, I love Aubrey Plaza.
We love Parks and Rec.
Janet Snakehole is like one of the best parts of Parks and Rec.
Exactly. So the fact that we got the extended cut of her was funny, but her character is literally somebody who is driven by money.
Yeah.
So it literally lined up perfectly. She just got blonde hair in this.
Party City sells Janet Snakehole costumes.
Does they really?
You can buy a Janet Snakehole costume.
You can literally make that.
From like Spirit Halloween.
That's funny.
That's how iconic that character is.
Well, they need to get a Wild Platinum one then because she played this part very well. I like that the character flipped quick.
Yes.
It didn't take long for her to be like, you know what? Because she starts off with Adam Driver and they're like in I guess it's a secret that they're together.
I guess they're just like it's not necessarily an affair because they're single, but they're just sleeping with each other. They're both single and they're sleeping with each other.
They're in an entanglement of some sort. And she's over it because she wants to be like a power couple. And Adam Driver's like, Caesar's like, I ain't about that life. Yeah. So she plots and does some things to get, which we'll mention with our next character, to does some things to get ahead, but she just plays it so perfect. And she was funny.
I like the name of her show, Money Bunny.
She hit all of the point. Whoever did the writing for her particular character, it was good. It was on point.
Because she's like the Wendy Williams, but Wendy Williams for finance talk.
Yeah.
So she only talks to the rich and elite families and follows like all their money and what they're doing.
Because she won't into the money.
I liked Aubrey Plaza's Wild Platinum because she was the most consistent character in the movie.
Agreed.
She stayed the same throughout the film. She wanted money and power. She schemed from the moment she was on the screen.
Yep.
All the way until the end when she stopped being on the screen.
Her final scene. Yeah.
I like that she was funny. Her comedy broke up some of the confusion. I won't say tension because it wasn't much tension.
It did. And she was funny. It wasn't like funny because it wasn't supposed to be funny. It was like comedic scenes.
Yeah. And her character was a lot more camp than everybody else. It's like the direction she was given was to be Janet Snakehole. And it was perfect. She was the best part of the film.
No complaints.
Shia LaBeouf is in this movie. He plays Claudio Pulcher, who is the cousin of Adam Driver's Catalina in this movie.
He was good.
He was so Shia LaBeouf's character is basically the antagonist.
Yes.
He is another. It's kind of weird to call Giancarlo Esposito the antagonist because I feel like all three of them are warring against each other.
Yes, and the mayor just has the conflict or has the issue of having like a city that's falling apart. And it might not have been his fault, but I mean, maybe he's just a crap mayor. He wasn't like a bad person.
I'll say between Caesar, Cicero, and Claudio. Claudio was the only one who was bad.
I mean, no. Cicero did something that was bad, but that was before he was mayor, but we'll get to that.
Cicero did do something that was bad. We'll reveal that later. But he was the only one who
actively bad
was
in the
actively
movie.
bad, like an active antagonist.
Exactly.
So basically, Shia LaBeouf's character is jealous of his cousin Caesar. Caesar is the one who gets all the respect and has the talent and is adored by John Voight's character, Crassius, who is Claudio's father.
Right.
Claudio's obviously after the inheritance because
money.
John Voight's old. Exactly. And so is Crassius. So they're waiting for Crassius to stop being around so that he can inherit, so they can find out where his money is going.
Right.
I enjoyed Shia LaBeouf's character.
I did
as an antagonist.
Yeah, he played the annoying, like scheming, plotting, no good, dirty, just character. All the way through.
Really good at playing a character to despise from the beginning of the film to the end of the film.
And he was just like, when is he going to get it?
And he's in the whole film. So I didn't realize how much people were going to be in this, but he is in this as much as Natalie Emmanuel is in this. I enjoyed his character because he was a good foil story-wise. He did do some things that progressed the plot or at least posed a problem for Cesaro.
Yeah.
And he was a little crazy.
He was definitely on drugs.
He reminded me of one of the young Roman emperors.
Okay, like we gonna see in Gladiator, maybe?
Yes, he reminds me of one. He reminds me of like Joseph Quinn's character that coming up in Gladiator 2, where he is the son of an emperor.
Yeah.
Who I guess in this case would be Crassus.
With the money.
So he's spoiled. He has no responsibility.
Don't do nothing.
And all he wants to do is just take everything.
And cause chaos.
And cause chaos.
Amongst the people who trying to mind their business.
And he doesn't care whether the city is fixed.
No.
Or whether the city is made better.
No.
He doesn't even care if the city is destroyed. What he does want is he wants to own it.
Yes.
And I did like the fact that he caused a lot of problems in the city that Adam Driver and Cicero had to navigate.
He was good at causing.
Always there.
He was good at causing issues.
Yeah, he was always there to capitalize on the chaos.
Very, very true. Very true.
Hamilton Crassus, John Voight's character.
He wasn't in this a ton, so there's not a ton to say. He played a good old going senile billionaire who like was a fool. With his money. So
Aubrey Plaza's Wow, Platinum, and Claudio, they refer to him as Robin Hood in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't make it clear whether or not he like takes from the rich and gives to the poor.
We don't see him do that.
But he seems to be a philanthropist of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah. He definitely does good stuff with his money, it seems like. It doesn't seem like he's pouring it into the community because community sucks.
Right.
And
sucks. People don't seem to hate him from what we can see.
You know what? He's like Thomas Wayne, where he's like supposed to be like this really philanthropic rich guy who's good, but it's strange because the city still sucks.
Exactly.
So that's who so you have to side eye him a little bit.
What are you doing with it?
So that's who Crassus is.
Right.
I did enjoy Crassus. He wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy in the movie. Crassus' character is basically a victim. He's a rich old guy who is
going through senior abuse.
He's going through
financial abuse.
Adult Protective Services.
He does.
Because while Platinum and Claudio are scheming together,
yeah,
Wow marries Crassus
in a crazy wedding scene that was just like
in a crazy Colosseum, in a crazy New Rome modern Colosseum scene.
We got acts, we got people flying on the air, we got circus folk, we got drinking wine and debauchery. It was just, it went on and on and on and on.
While Platinum's character marries Crassus for his money, because she's really in love with Caesar, Catalina, but he doesn't want her because he only is attracted to people who, like he said earlier in the film, who think, who use their minds, and she's just a blogger basically. So she marries
Janice Snakehole.
She's Janice Snakehole. So she marries Crassus because he can keep her in the finest of Bergdorf Goodman. And while she's marrying him to drive him crazy because he's old and control all of his finances, she's working with Claudio to also steal the fortune from up under him as well. And it kind of works.
It does work.
Yeah, it works all the way up until the end of the film.
It does. Like she schemes her way right up to the top. She freezing folks' assets. She's signing things over.
Yep.
It works for the most part.
It works. The last character I guess we can mention is Lawrence Fishburne, because I feel like he's the last person who has more than like 5 minutes of screen time in the film.
Yeah, so he is the assistant and the driver, and that's pretty much what he does in the movie is assist and drive around Caesar. But he's supposed to be giving like words of wisdom, but once again, like Adam Driver's dialogue, it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Most of the things that Lawrence Fishburne did was narrate between the chapters, which we did not know going into this film that this was a chapter film.
Let me tell you something about the narration. It didn't.
Nothing, and that goes back into the dialogue. The dialogue is nonsense, so the narration is there in nonsense. So nothing is really explained
because it's Lawrence Fishburne. We have scenes in this movie where for like 2 or 3 minutes, it's like a trippy acid ride. Like, we are in the mind of somebody on drugs, but the person might not actually be on drugs. For instance, Ford Coppola just decided to show us the movie this way. And it's just like, get me out of here.
The movie is about wealth and class.
Yeah.
And you know what else was about class?
What?
Transformers 1. Transformers 1 was about class, and Transformers 1 knocked it out of the freaking park.
We didn't have no acid trips for the
Transformers
robots.
was about class. It was about power struggle. It was about
lies and deceit.
It was about trying to rebuild their world.
Yep.
And somehow they were able to do it with a lot more finesse and nuance than Francis Ford Coppola.
And less time and money.
And coherence.
Yeah.
So those are all of the main players in the film. What do we like and dislike about it? I think we've sprinkled that in.
We did. The simple plot of a man wants to build a better world. He falls in love with a woman who can help him do that. He overcomes his struggle. I like that part because his conflict with the mayor, who has the same
and of course
end goal,
and of course the woman he's in love with is his enemy,
right?
The daughter of his enemy.
Exactly. So you got that. I like that dynamic. We setting that up. That I like the fact that we also have another person who's also trying to have the same goal, but they're enemies. So I like the bare bones plot. I don't like the acid trips. I don't like the dialogue. I didn't like the extra sex scenes that just were unnecessary. And it's not, they're not graphic.
They are.
There's one. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I didn't need to see Aubrey Plaza sit on Shia LaBeouf's face. Gross.
Multiple times in like a short, in a short time span.
In the same scene.
Yeah. So like, I didn't get that. It didn't add anything to the movie. They could have had, it's basically the scene where they plot up against John Voight's character, but they could have did that over like, I don't know, coffee or something.
Yeah.
Because she was his aunt at that point. Because she married his dad. So that was unnecessary. There's a whole scene about a singer who's a virgin and everybody's donating to a virginity pledge.
Pledges to preserve virginity. It was very strange.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that there are plot holes of like, we don't get any explanation of how Caesar can control time. None.
Yeah, and we never mentioned it in our breakdown, other than mentioning it at the beginning, because it doesn't play a factor in the film.
Anything. He makes a flower factory appear, a flower shop appear in the middle of the street.
Or maybe that was already there. We're unsure because he was driving to a location.
Exactly. So. Like you mentioned, you can't mix a movie with a person who has magical powers and who also hallucinates,
and metaphors.
We as the audience can't tell the difference.
Yeah,
because there were scenes where like, did this actually happen, or is he hallucinating? Because he does have magic. So does anybody else see what he's like? Lawrence Fishburne's character drives him to a location where we think his wife is. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, the wife ain't actually there.
Yeah,
the wife been gone,
and we're not really explained why he goes there.
Why is he being driven there?
Why is Lawrence Fishburne driving there? Is he just like, is Lawrence Fishburne amusing him because he knows that his boss is a little crazy?
Right, like,
but
no explanation.
I want to back up for a second, back to what you said about the confusing depictions of what's real and what's not. So Adam Driver has powers.
That's my least favorite part of this movie is the confusion.
The movie also has a lot of metaphors which aren't explained. Yeah. You just kind of have to understand that, no, this isn't actually happening in this film where Adam Driver can stop time. This is just a metaphor of what they're experiencing. So in the trailer, we were very confused why the statues were falling over. The statues look sad. And those weren't actually moving statues. What it was supposed to be is a depiction, a metaphor of injustice. So in that scene where he's driving to the flower shop,
it looks good though.
He's being followed by Julia because she wants to know where he's going.
And Shia LaBeouf
because they just want to know where he's going. They're spying on him. And as they're driving and following him, he drives to the bad side of town, and we start to see police cars on fires,
people getting beat up,
a lot of homeless, a lot of police beating people in the streets of the clubs. And then Julia makes a comment and says, "You can see the injustice falling around us." And then that's when we get the shots of the statues falling over and leaning and looking tired, and we get a shot of a statue being weighed down on the ground by chains and bricks, and that's not magical, and that's not actually happening in the movie where he can freeze and where he can stop and start time. Those are just metaphors.
So how did he make the flower shop appear?
And which adds to the fact that, what was the flower shop?
He walked. I didn't get the whole scene with him going to go see his wife who actually wasn't there at all. Yeah. Because we come to find out that his wife's body, the mayor actually had his wife's body in the morgue the whole time, and because he hated Caesar and he was trying to get him in jail. It was just kind of like, so what was we looking at?
The big issue with this movie is this movie had a lot of visual metaphors that played alongside of actual
reality,
things that are strange in reality.
Yes.
Then you don't explain the divide between the two. It makes it all seem like nonsense.
Because there's a scene where Caesar has like these floating cubes or whatever in front of him while he's like drawing and doing his little architecture stuff. but that ain't got nothing to do with time.
Is that magic? Is that technology? Or is that a metaphor?
Right, because if he's just stopping time, how is he playing with a Rubik's Cube, essentially?
And the cube seems to have his memories.
Of his wife.
Not
Right.
like video recordings. They're like visual memories. Like they were pulled from his brain.
Didn't get it. It seems like Julia can see the cubes moving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. It's weird. It just stuff like this was just jammed for the whole 2 hours and 18 minutes.
The last thing I'll mention is the Megalon. The Megalon is the vibranium of this universe. So basically the Megalon is described as a revolutionary new bioadaptive building material that he believes can change the world. It's a fictional, it's unobtainium. It's the fictional substance. It's adamantium. It hasn't been defined yet. Yeah. But it's used to design the buildings, which all look like flowers.
To build the city.
But it's also used for fashion. He makes a dress out of it. And it is also used to restore
people's
human
faces.
Bone and tissue.
Skin.
So towards the end of the movie, we get a scene where Adam Driver and Shia LaBeouf's conflict has come to a head.
Yep.
Shia LaBeouf hires a child to shoot Adam Driver, and he shoots him in the face.
Yep, eyeball.
And we get a scene of him in the surgery. And they're attaching the megalon to his face.
Sure. And
we're seeing it regrow his bone and his skin. And his brain, I guess. Because I guess they had to rebuild his brain, too. That's why he was a little nuts.
Sure.
For a little bit in the film.
Extra nuts.
That's not explained. It's also a throwaway, just like the time.
It doesn't add anything to the movie.
Just like the time stopping, it appears once or twice in the film. It doesn't seem like anybody else can obtain it or acknowledges it.
He's the only one that we don't even know how it gets made.
No, he's the inventor, and it's just shown to us. So this movie it was a mess of ideas that would have been done justice by a lot of cutting.
I forgot the fact he got shot in the face.
Yeah. So let's talk about that end.
It's actually a happy ending.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So John Voight's character ends up faking like he's senile and dying and ain't paying attention. Mm-hmm. He ends up shooting Wild Platinum dead. So she dies.
Yes. So shoots her with an arrow.
Actually wasn't expecting that.
Which I guess was supposed to be a play on the Robin Hood thing.
Sure, whatever.
And he's wearing the Robin Hood hat. So
okay.
He shoots her in the chest with a tiny bow and arrow.
Shoots her and kills her. He also shoots Shia LaBeouf's character in the butt twice. Mm-hmm. So he runs off to go live in the streets. And I guess the citizens that he basically blindsided and corrupted hang him.
I think Shia LaBeouf is supposed to be Trumpy.
Okay, sure.
I noticed something that I leaned over to that I did confirm later. That was a swastika in that scene.
Oh, and that was built out of the cement block.
So he hires a henchman who's kind of like a Nazi, I guess.
Ow.
And which explains why he was so anti-immigrant.
Okay.
But in a scene where Shia LaBeouf's giving a speech in the town square, he stands on a carved out tree stump, and the tree stump is carved to the shape of a swastika.
Yeah, okay. Once again, added nothing to the movie. Need to be in there? Another theme that I didn't pick up on. Julia and Caesar have a baby.
Yeah, and get married, I guess.
Get married in the back of a car. Mm-hmm. Giancarlo Esposito's character, her dad, pissed about the baby, wants him to leave her. He actually does, because Giancarlo admits that he is the one who been hiding the dead wife's body, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They actually end up patching it up at the end, at the very, 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 very end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it actually is a happy ending. Caesar and Julia have a baby. They build the city. The mayor and his wife, commune with the baby and Julia and Caesar, and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah, all the villains die.
Yeah, pretty much.
And all the good guys live happy ever after. And I guess they thrive in the newly built city.
Yeah, and all of the people that were living in Gotham know how to act in a brand new shiny city.
Yeah, now that they have access to the brand new shiny city, poverty and hunger has ended.
Pew! Out of here.
The plant city that he built with no houses.
Yeah.
But gardens.
And moving rivers that are like moving sidewalks.
I don't even know how this is taxed.
I don't even know how he built a city in like 9 months.
What is the maintenance?
Because when he started the city, she said she's pregnant, and then by the end, when the baby is born, the baby maybe like 2 months.
Yeah.
So he built the city in like a year, and it looks like something you've never seen before. So I give him that on design. The city is a fresh new take on city building. So yeah, happy ending.
Any random notes you want to throw out?
I think I covered everything. One of my notes was, is he magic? that was my first note. I was like, is he like a musician? What's going on here? Never clarified, by the way.
Go back to the club.
That's going to be a meme.
Was one of my random notes. That was one of the random lines of dialogue between Adam Driver and Natalie Emmanuel.
Just Google Adam Driver Back to the Club.
Go back to the club.
You'll find the memeable moment in this movie that was very strange and stood out like a sore thumb.
I thought I would pull off the quote because I had the hair, but it didn't land.
No, he says it in a very like
condescending but funny.
Right, because you don't expect Adam Driver to do like a neck roll in the middle of a movie.
And I'll throw out my last random note that I had at the end of the movie, which another Parks and Rec memory. This movie reminded me of Entertainment 720. So this movie reminded me of Entertainment 720 because remember when they went to Tom Haverford's bar?
Yeah.
And they thought that they were going to have a good rant.
Talking about the snake hole?
Yeah. They thought they were just going to be like a regular nightclub and have like regular drinks, but all the cocktails came in like weird containers and weird forms. So it reminded me of Entertainment 720 because it's like going to the movies and we were thinking we were going to have like a regular night out and have regular drinks. And then they serve you vodka shots through a Polaroid camera. Which was one of the scenes from Parks and Rec when he ordered a vodka and it came in the form of a camera flash. Yeah.
It will also remind me that because it was like super flashy, overdone, but underneath it was just a hot mess.
It was just a hot mess and Pretty it was a complete mess of ideas. Yeah. That's exactly what this film was.
I hope Francis come out with something else soon.
Do we have a favorite line or scene? No. Go back to the club.
It was
go back to the club.
Weird. So weird. I was like, did they tell him to do that script like that, line delivery like that, or he just do that sassy. On his own? It was like sassy, neck roll, and then he just keeps talking the rest of the sentence like normal. And you like, what just happened?
It was mean.
You know what? My favorite scene had to be where they were playing whatever game. The four.
That's mine.
Julia, Giancarlo Esposito, Adam Driver, and her mom were at the table playing a game, and Giancarlo and Adam Driver are going back and forth about like evolution, and they're kind of debating back and forth. It was just a really good acted scene from everybody, and it was the one point in the movie where like, I'm following why they don't get along.
And the dialogue made sense.
And I understand their philosophies and why they clashed. That was like the best acting of the movie because you could follow why the characters didn't like each other.
Yeah, in all seriousness, that was the best scene of the movie. When Adam Driver and Giancarlo Esposito are talking about whether to focus on the future or the now. Yeah. And I like the fact that Giancarlo was basically saying, well, we don't need to focus on the future. It's a fool's idea to be focused on the future. Yeah. And Adam Driver was basically saying, well, the only reason we're sitting here having this conversation is because an ape decided to stand up on 2 feet and walk around, and you're a product of people planning for the future. And I like that.
That was the best scene. And a very good scene right after that is when Julia reveals that she's pregnant, and Giancarlo Esposito is like mad, so he leaves dinner, and Julia is like broke up, like super broke up. Also a very well acted scene.
I guess the last scene that was really good that I'll mention was the conversation between Giancarlo Esposito and Adam Driver's character when he's bribing him to leave Julia.
Yes, also good.
Cicero basically comes clean that he knew that Adam Driver didn't murder his wife because they found his wife's body. The whole movie, they made it seem like she was missing. Right. And people thought Adam Driver killed his wife and discarded her body. But they found his wife a long time ago. Giancarlo was basically like, I kept it as dirt to hold over you, and I want to come clean because I want you to leave my daughter, so she can have a better life.
And he actually does leave her, but they come back together by the end of the movie. But yeah, that was a good scene too.
And I liked what Catalina said to him when he was basically like, how do you look at your soul? Yeah. After you make me a proposal like that. It's terrible. Yeah, it's awful.
It was bad. I was like, you been holding that woman's body? Oh, that's awful. And she was it was just bad.
Yeah, but it was terrible.
Good. Those 3 scenes between those 3 actors, very good.
All right. Final words in our rating.
You can skip it.
No.
You don't need to see this. We just saw it for you. Congratulations.
It is unfortunate because these are some really good performances that I don't know when the next time I'll see Natalie Emmanuel.
Go watch her movie.
I mean, I watched that, but I don't know when the next time I will see her in a film where she has an acting opportunity like this, because we don't see her that often.
Yeah.
This was the best. And if this movie was good, I think we would have seen more of her after this.
You know, I don't think this movie was so bad that it's going to mess up anybody's careers.
I don't.
I hope not.
How does the marketing of that work when you're like doing other jobs? You just submit your scenes?
Yes.
Or do you say like, hey, when you go to a casting call, you're like, I was in Megalopolis.
You play the scenes that we just said were good. The scenes at the dinner table, the scene right after. She good.
I hope that she benefits from this.
I do too.
She was really good in this.
She was good.
They don't use her enough in Fast and Furious. And now I'm going to see the next one and wish that she was in it the most, because now she's the best actor in the franchise.
She need her own. We're going to do a spinoff. Put her in the spinoff.
Who would have known, because they don't use her enough, that she's the best actress in the Fast and Furious films.
We like you, my Sunday.
You're good.
Natalie Manuel.
Stick around. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this a 1, Nicole Kidman.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah. Listen, I'm so distracted. I forgot. It's a 1.
It's a 1 because it was just nonsense. The movie was nonsense, and it didn't have anything cut, and it was in a state where it needed to have at least 60% cut.
We gave Never Let Go a 2, right? Yeah,
it was low.
I'm gonna have to give this a 1 then. I can't say it's better than Never Let Go.
Never Let Go was not explained very well,
but it's another situation where you had good acting, not a great script.
No, it wasn't explained very well.
Yeah.
But Never Let Go was coherent. I was confused about the plot, but I understood that I was watching a film about an evil entity plaguing a family in the woods.
This just had too much extra stuff.
Don't ask me what this movie was about.
That made no sense for the plot that was buried underneath it all.
If you see me and you ask me what this movie was about, don't ask me. I don't know.
I was going to say, listen to episode 61 of the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, and we'll do our best.
But yeah, I have to give this a 1, Nicole Kidman. Unfortunately, it was just a little too confusing.
It's too much stuff in it.
And a lot of it, the majority of it, did not do anything to advance the plot, the actual plot, the point of the movie.
Right.
Most of the film didn't do anything to advance that.
You right.
Yeah. So
all right.
That is our review of Megalopolis. What are we watching next week?
It's Joker 2 time. How do you say the tagline? Joker.
Folie-à-deux.
Folie-à-deux.
Folie-à-deux. Folie-à-deux. Folie-à-deux.
Joker Folie-à-deux is our next episode. So that'll be interesting because I didn't watch the first one and I won't be watching it. So, but I caught the gist. It's a musical. We both don't like musicals, so we gonna see.
I watched the first one. It wasn't great, but
won $1 billion though.
It did win $1 billion. I only saw it once.
Excuse me, it's not the last.
It wasn't great. I mean, in one of those things where the best thing about Joker, you can't make the Joker interesting and cut out Batman. You just can't.
Jay is like, stop.
He's not interesting.
Stop doing it.
I don't care how you feel about it. The Joker is not interesting without Batman. You know, Batman and Joker are like Romeo and Juliet. Who cares? Would you watch a Juliet solo film? No. What is that? Eat, Pray, Love? So
does she live at the end? I'm just playing.
No. But I'm interested because this has not been getting good reviews, and
it's
people who have seen it haven't heard anything positive about it, which is strange.
We'll see if we agree with those not so great reviews or not.
Yeah, the first one was divisive, but I feel like the negativity around this one is much worse.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're going to find out on our next episode of Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. Thanks for listening. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voice message that we can play on the show if it is polite and friendly. You can follow us on Twitter at Vaguely Nerdy Pod or on Instagram at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. We're also on Threads, which is actually kind of a cool place. So if you're on Threads, check us out at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. And then you can reach us on Gmail at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. And if you are listening to this show on a podcast app, you can also watch our animated show on the YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.